Uruguay will melt down a bronze eagle found on a sunken World War II-era Nazi destroyer off its coast 13 years ago, and recast it as a dove of peace, the South American country's president said Friday.
Here's a summary of the article.
Montevideo, Uruguay will melt down a bronze eagle found on a sunken World War II-era German destroyer off its coast 13 years ago, and recast it as a dove of peace, the South American country's president said Friday. The 350-kilogram symbol of violence and war will be turned into a symbol of peace and union, President Luis Lacalle told journalists in the capital Montevideo. The 2-meter-tall bird with a Nazi swastika gripped in its talons adorned the stern of the Admiral Graf Spee, a battleship involved in one of the first naval skirmishes of World War II. The Graf Spee's captain, Hans Langsdorff, scuttled the battleship, one of the Third Reich's largest, on December 17, 1939 following the Battle of the River Plate. The sculpture was found in 2006 after a 10-year hunt in the River Plate off Montevideo. The treasure hunters later filed suit, claiming the government reneged on that deal. Last year, Uruguay's Supreme Court ruled the eagle was the property of the state. Lacalle said Uruguayan artist Pablo Echegaray has been chosen to make the peace dove, which is expected to be completed in November.
This post received a score of 22,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
The Bronze Eagle was from Admiral Graf Spee and was not a destroyer. It is a Panzerschiff in German and the British called it a pocket battleship. You could call it a cruiser too, but what is for sure, it is not a destroyer. No German destroyer traveled very far out at sea at all during World War II. They did not have the range to do that. I do not get why the article calls it a destroyer in one part of the text and a battleship in others.
Destroyer sounds more ominous. They don't know the difference, and they're probably more concerned about meeting a deadline. You might be able to send a comment to them to have it corrected.
I think disorder sounds pretty ominous. That's what my mom says I have 6 of. I wish could get my disorders sunk.
I wish I had a mom.
I wish I had that guy's mom.
Get in line and eventually you will.
Well, that's boring. Can't we have a peace capybara? Nothing says chill like a guinea pig.
Boobies are from Uruguay too. Bird for a bird and will probably be best way to shame Nazis and neo-Nazis.
Sure. But it's the capitude that makes them much more fun than albino pigeons. They just give a straight-up negative fuck. Nothing bugs them.
FYI, the Admiral Graf Spee wasn't a destroyer, it was a pocket battleship, a unique 16K-ton heavy cruiser design with 11 inches guns, and a crew of over 1,000 men. The destroyer of her era was a fraction the size.
Still, I think the interesting part is they are melting it and cast it into something else.
I thought there were rules over salvaging from military vessels re-war dead etc.? Nah, she was scuttled by the crew. She's fair game. No dead were on board.
I had a dialysis patient years ago, who was in the Navy in World War II in the Atlantic and helped chase that bitch all the way into the mouth of the La Plata, where the captain and a handful of officers scuttled it after getting the crew off to Uruguay. The way he told it to Graf Spee was a nasty little piece of work.
She did a number on one of the British cruisers, HMS Exeter, and a decent amount of damage to the other two, HMS Ajax and HMNZS Achilles. Probably one of the few Kriegsmarine ships I can actually respect. She fought well, always ensured the safety of the crews of the merchant ships she sunk, and her captain chose to scuttle her rather than fight to the end to avoid unnecessary deaths. Ultimately though, she still served the Third Reich, so it's good that such an effective ship was taken out of the war early.
I don't know, but I think this belongs in some sort of WW2 museum with the right context. As long as we are not glorifying the Nazi, I think this is an interesting piece of history.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.